I'm so tired, but I'm looking at the pictures from performing at Greeley Central today, this high school in Greeley, Colorado, and it was so cool because I have been trying this thing where I just let myself fly. Like I don't write a script or practice at nothing. I just let my words just come from the heart, and it's been rough. Like sometimes it feels like it works and sometimes it doesn't. And so today, my last performance at Greeley in the auditorium, this assembly I did was just like, I don't know if it was the way it was set up, but there was like a lot of students in there, like 100, over 100, and I got to speak to them, but it felt like it was also really personal. So that was really dope for me because I just feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, you know? And that is really dope. So I just wanted to make a little video blog about that because I'm just too tired to write anything down and I don't want to forget how I felt. But this feeling is so amazing. Like, it's the best feeling when these kids come up to you after and just like tell you how your story impacted them and how they can relate to you. And it's just, it makes me feel like I'm living in my purpose, and I'm finally doing what I've been put on the earth to do, but I wasn't doing it for so long because I was too worried about financial security and, the security of being basic for the rest of my life. Just like, and this is the distinction between being basic and not being basic, is like, if you're being basic is not living your truth. It's like doing something because you think you have to, or because society tells you. Like, there are some people who legit love being like having a family and white picket fence and coming home every day, and that's like something that they strive for, and that's real for them, and I love that. But I've just always haven't, like, I've always just yearned for more, and I never really knew what it was until I found the way to use my voice in a way that I can inspire others. And that is, for me, is worth so much more than, I feel now that I'm worth so much more than just sitting in that cubicle and kind of, being disrespected by, the people I worked for, and just not being acknowledged for, my potential, and just sitting there feeling like wasted talent. And so now I feel like I'm living in my purpose, and traveling around to all these high schools is just like showing me what I'm capable of when I just let myself fly and when I let myself sing in my own voice. That is what has been so like crucial about doing this, is that I have learned how powerful just being yourself is. Like, there's so much magic in authenticity. There's just, it can't be replaced. Like, it can't be emulated. It can't be like created ever again. Like, authenticity is the reason why people are successful, like, and I don't mean successful like monetarily, or like, oh, you had a one hit. Like, I'm talking about mainstream, like consistent success across the board. If you look at the common denominator among all of those people who are successful, the thing is that they have remained true to themselves as much as they could, like they have remained true to who they truly are, and they have just remained their most authentic self. And that's where the real bag is. Like, the real glow up is internal, and figuring out who you are and not apologizing for it, but learning to celebrate it. That's like, you got skeletons in your closet, man. Like, you just got to learn to make them dance. So that's my word for the day. And I'm just really grateful, and I'm just in so much gratitude, and I love Greeley. Like, I never really thought that I would have this much love here, but all the kids and everyone, like even the adults that have been helping me from the library, High Plains, I thank them so much. They've just all been so kind and just really receptive towards me. And also, what I really want to talk about is I need to acknowledge, yesterday I didn't make any posts because it was just too overwhelming. Like, I met some kids at this alternative youth home, and they're incarcerated, like that's what the kids were telling me, is that I thought it was like an alternative school, but I guess it is an alternative school. They just didn't tell me that it was like these kids were like locked up. And so I just automatically connected with them. Like, when I walked in there, I just felt like I was at home. And I think that's because like that's my people, you know, like I've been performing in juvenile detention centers for most of my career. Like that was my career for a while. Like that was in some years of my life that was only where I would perform because that was the only people I could never say no to. And so when ILW would ask me, I'll be like, yeah, what time? Like no questions asked. And I got to sit down and talk with some of these boys afterwards, and they touched me so much. Like they just, like their words were so powerful, and their words just touched me, and like my, like spiritually, like I felt them. You know, I felt connected to them, like we were like family, even though we never met and we don't look nothing alike. Like my boy Brent, he said I'm a real cowboy. He gave me advice, and you know he got the advice from he told me a line from Joe Dirt. He's like, you know, I know a lot of people think that movie's just about like an old redneck, but you know, there's some real stuff in there. And I was like, you know what? I can relate to you because I be finding real ass advice in movies too, like Sister Act 2. If you wanna go somewhere, if you wanna be somebody, you gotta wake up and pay attention. Like that's my shit. Like, and that's so real. But I only remember that because it's in song form. You know, like I swear I could sing, but when that movie came out, I could sing. But anyways, at least I thought I could. I thought I was truly Lauryn Hill, like in the shower. But you know, it didn't really sound the same. It's weird. I don't know why. But back to Brett and Michael and James and the other kids that I met over there, like they were so dope. Like they just received me so well, and they felt like my little brothers, and I was able to connect with them like immediately. Like in comparison to all the other places I've performed so far, nobody felt me like them. Nobody felt me. And I do this, if you were in my shoes lesson, I do this lesson where I show them what it's like to be extremely honest and like open, because how can I ask something of them that I have not demonstrated for them as a teacher, as an instructor? So if I want them, if the object of my lesson is for them to be honest, then I got to show them what it looks like, right? So I go through my book and I read like all of my most honest shit, which is like, yeah, the majority of the book is like the book is heavy. So my book is called Confessions of a Firework. If you haven't read it, if you have, cool, I love you so much. And it is, you know, full of just my experiences. And so I read these poems from this book and from my book, and I try to demonstrate what it looks like to be extremely honest. And then I give them, you know, I cut out shoes, usually like little Air Force Ones, and I like the outline of it, and I have them write, if you were in my shoes, you would know blank, blah, blah, blah. And they have to fill in the blanks, because now I always tell them when you know, let your light shine, like Marianne Williamson says, you unconsciously give people the permission to do the same. And so I believe the same thing is true about honesty and, you know, showing your vulnerability. Like it makes people feel automatically like they can do that too. And so I do this if you were in my shoes lesson, and these boys gave me their shoes because they were telling me that, you know, if it wasn't for me, they would have never been able to like admit this stuff. And so he made me cry, and he was like, he's like, I told him he was my first cowboy I ever met, and he really was. He was like a true cowboy. He's like, I like hunting. He was like, I wear a cowboy hat and the boots. He's like, I even got a mullet. Like, he was just my favorite person, because that's what I mean about authenticity. Like, you know exactly who you are. You know exactly what you are. You ain't apologizing for it. In fact, you proud of it. He was like, you know what, ma'am, I like your nails. And I was like, thank you, sweetie. He was like, I like pink because I like pink camouflage. He said, I like to wear pink camouflage with his little accent. He was so cute. He was a real cowboy. But I love you, Brent. If you ever watch this, just know you my brother. He felt me, and he wrote on the back of it, to another soul who understands. And I just felt like he saw me. Like, we were so different, but he was still able to see me because I showed myself to him, not the way I look on the outside, and not like nothing on the outside. It was, I showed myself when I opened my poems up, and when I opened myself up to do these poems in front of these people that I don't know, I share myself with them, and some people feel it and some people don't, and I do it for the ones who do. And I just really appreciate like all of the people who have stayed after and to talk to me over the years, not just on this tour in Colorado, but like for the last 10 years that I've been performing. People have just told me the most profound things, and I wasn't awake enough to be able to acknowledge it, but now that I am, I just want to thank all of you and everyone who takes time to listen to my podcast and comment and tell me what they think. And also people who leave comments, or just people who are always encouraging. There are so many people who are encouraging on Instagram. Like, Instagram is really truly a place where I have cultivated this like support system of people who don't even know me, but who just really like support my work and are proud of me. And that is just so beautiful. And so, yeah, I love y'all. Goodbye.